Hello and good Woche, everyone. The moment Shabbos was Shabbos Vayikra, and we're starting into a new Chumash. And there's a interesting point in Sefer Vayikra, at the very beginning. This is the first Chumash that children in Cheder. That's the first thing that they learn. It's the first thing that they start. They put honey on the letters, they like the letters, so the Torah is sweet, and so forth and so on. And it's a very interesting point why specifically the children start with Sefer Vayikra and do not start, let's say, in Bereshis. Why is that? There's a certain point that I heard on Friday um, from David Glitzman. But he said that Vayikra says Hashem calling to Moshe Rabbeinu, and he gives him the instructions for the different offerings. The entire parsha talks about different kind of offerings. It's oilo, it's chatos, it's osham, it's menoches. Every single one, exactly which korban it is and what it entails, and so forth, and so on. What the beginning says, and he called someone who is not mentioned, called Moshe Rabbeinu, it's a Kodesh Baruch Hu, and he tells them what is the teaching of the Korbanos. So, what do we learn from the fact that it doesn't say that Hashem called Moshe and gave him the instructions? Just said Vayikra, that somebody called Moshe. Why isn't Hashem mentioned there? So the point that he made was that when it says in Hashem called Moshe, it tells us that HaKadosh Baruch Hu called Moshe Rabbeinu, and this is the process of how the things were, as it were. But Vayikra teaches us something else. It says that it basically divides, it tells us that any kind of connection, of conversation between the Kadosh Baruch Hu and a person, it doesn't matter if it's Moshe Rabbeinu, it doesn't matter if it's you or me. It starts with a calling. First of all, Hashem calls you, and then he speaks to you. Meaning, Kadosh Baruch Hu is speaking to us all the time. He is conversing with us all the time, but we don't hear it. And the reason why we don't hear it is because we don't make ourselves ready to hear it. We don't prepare ourselves. In order to be able to converse with the Kadosh Baruch Hu, to interact with the Kadosh Baruch Hu, first of all, you have to heed the call. You have to understand somebody's calling you. Kadosh Baruch Hu is calling you. And when you prepare yourself, when you heed the call, and you turn to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, then HaKadosh Baruch Hu is communicating. It's like in the quintessential Jewish statement, Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad. It begins with an instruction, with a call. Shema Yisrael, hear, O Israel, listen, you're being called. What is being said? Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad. That's the message. But first of all, you have to listen. First of all, you have to hearken the call. You're being called. Because we have a lot of different things that are calling our attention on a daily basis. And yet we don't hear it. Why? Because we're busy with the thing that is calling us at that particular point in time. If it's things that we are struggling with, or things that we need to accomplish, or things that we're frustrated by, or things we're happy about. So basically you are reacting, and our attention, is sort of like it keeps on swaying back and forth according to the thing that demands our attention at that particular point in time. The first thing to be able to heed the calling of HaKadosh Baruch Hu is to turn to Him and realize that you're being called. Once you realize you're being called, you're open to communication. HaKadosh Baruch Hu will communicate with you. And the communication of HaKadosh Baruch Hu with a person is very obvious. You're not called to decipher some kind of subliminal, none of that. When HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants you to do something, HaKadosh Baruch Hu communicates with you, it's very open, it's very obvious, and it's very simple. You don't need, I don't know what. But what you do need is you need to tune in to the frequency. You can tune into, okay, what does HaKadosh Baruch Hu want to tell me? This is one of the basics of his business. So speaking to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you are turning away from the world, and you are turning towards HaKadosh Baruch Hu. You're talking to him, listening to him. You're asking him, you're thanking him, you're asking him, you're asking for whatever it is that you need, and you're listening. When HaKadosh Baruch Hu converses with you, it is very clear. It is never ambiguous. If it's ambiguous, it means that you're imagining things. HaKadosh Baruch Hu tells us something, it's very simple, and it's very direct. Vayikra Moshe. And then he tells them what? First of all, you understand that you're being called. Alrighty, let's go with Sipurey Baal Shem Tov. And this talks about Emunah, Tzadik b'Emunah so Yichir, that somebody who believes in Hashgacha Pratis and Hashem Yisbarach knows that all the things that, that transpire by a person that happened to him is from Hashem Yisbarach, big or small. And the that's the reason if a person, makes chas v'chalila a sin, and immediately he regrets it and becomes, and he's afraid of the consequences, he's immediately atoned. Why? Because he believes that this is the reason to his sin, and he regrets it. And regretting it is a kapara for his aver. Hashem said that when a big wagon full of straw, and one strand of straw falls behind the wagon, they declare Misham exactly at which spot that single strand of straw will land. And when a leaf falls off a tree, it is decreed on every single leaf exactly when it is going to fall off and where it will land. It is a very famous story that once the Baal Shem Tov showed one of his Talmidim that a leaf falls down to the ground, and he ordered them to lift up that leaf, and they saw the underneath the leaf there is a worm. And Baal Shem Tov said that worm was suffering from the heat, so the leaf fell on it, so it will shadow. They'll cast a shadow on it, and it can revive. Because Hashem has hashgacha pratis on everything. Everything. This union of Emunah, you know, our biggest challenge is to believe that which we believe. Meaning, we all believe in Kodesh Baruch Hu. We all believe in the Torah. We all believe in Olam Haba. We all believe in Tzaddikim. But we don't really believe it. We don't really believe what we believe. We believe like, oh, it's in the bigger picture. We don't really believe what we believe. That is the battle. The battle is to believe that which you believe. This is what it is about. The world is full with the godliness of Kodesh Baruch Hu. Just completely full with everything. If we were, believing, in other words, we were tunnel visioned, if we were concentrating, if we believed that which we believe, Kodesh Baruch Hu, every single thing, nothing happens without a Kodesh Baruch Hu. If we really believe that, we would see it. And we would be communicated, to and from, the entire creation to us, from us to creation, Kodesh Baruch Hu to us, from us to Kodesh Baruch Hu, all the time. But the problem is fully believing that which we basically believe. Okay, let's just take a quick look, and just a second, I want to see what is the Sichos Haran for this week. Okay. Sichos Haran, last week we learned that everything that you see in the world is there for choice, to enable free choice. And two, here we're talking about Sikha number 301 and 302. We'll start with 301. It says, I heard in the Rebbe's name, Raisa Nosson, that the main avodah of the Jewish person in the winter is to wake up at Chatzos, when the night comes down early. And in the summer, when the night is very short, especially in Europe, is very short, and then people don't wake up Chatzos in Chutz La'aretz. It says in another place, then a person should be careful to stand up first thing in the morning. The important Nikud, this is besides the fact that this is a directive of what is the right thing to do. Now, it used to be, today it's less, but it used to be that many people were disputing, Rabbeinu, and they were quarreling with him or saying things about him or whatever. But Nosson writes, he says, in Yiddish, this says it's a nit kasha. It's not hard. It's not disputable. It says, Nosson says, I have never ever met anybody who was more nit kasha, there's nothing disputable about him than Rabbeinu. Because Rabbeinu does not say a single thing that has not been said before him. He says you should stick to Shulchan Aruch, you should wake up Chatzos, you should daven v'sikin early in the morning, Wake up in the morning like we read just now. Say Kriyat Shema but the first man. And stick to Shulchan Aruch. Don't move even a single iota from Shulchan Aruch. Just that's it. Every single thing that Rabbeinu tells us is nothing new. It has always been said, has been said by all the tzaddikim throughout the generation. What Rabbeinu does is that it zooms in on the fact that you got to do your career in this world is Avodas Hashem. This is what it's about. There's nothing else there. But Baruch Hu should help us, B'ezrat Hashem. In Sichos 302, B'ezrat Hashem, that we will learn B'ezrat Hashem next week, it's another, another iteration of how to do things and where to do things. But the main thing is we just covered these two things, three things really. The first thing is we spoke about Vayikra, is realize that you are being called, that you are being summoned, you are being spoken to. The second thing is we spoke about Emunah, that we need to believe, we believe in Hashgacha Pratis, and the fact that we need to believe that which we believe. We need to really believe what we believe, not just in general, even as a begadol, And ultimately, jumping right in. Do the right thing to do. If you can, wake up chatzos. If you can't, wake up early in the morning. If you can't, do whatever it is that you can. But the main thing is your focus, and my focus, and our focus needs to be serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu with everything you got. There's nothing else there. There is no reality. There's no other reality except HaKadosh Baruch Hu and you. He's calling you, and he's calling you to him. And your career in this world is to serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu from this world. This is it. And nothing else is worth the trip, as it were. Well, baseball, basketball, what? Money? What? There's no other tachlis in this life except getting closer to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. You need to know that you're called. You need to believe. You need to do. Shem B'ezrat Hashem will help us. Baruch Hashem, now, we're less than 2 weeks before Pesach. That Hashem will be zocher to be saved from even a morsel of chometz, Pesach, spiritually, physically. That Hashem will all have a good, productive week. Avodas Hashem, as much as we can, with everything that we can. B'ezrat Hashem will see Yeshua's Gdolos B'ezrat Hashem very, very soon in our own lives, B'ezrat Hashem. Shkoich, and a very, very, very good week, B'ezrat Hashem. Kol Tov.